Last Wednesday, a member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Abdul Samad Dasuki, PDP Sokoto, raised a matter of privilege on the floor of the House, alleging discrepancies between the tax laws passed by the National Assembly and the versions subsequently gazetted and made available to the public. Reacting to the developments, the African Democratic Congress demanded the immediate suspension of the tax laws to allow the legislature to take the necessary corrective actions. Also, Professor Yadudu last week said his review of differences between the acts passed by the National Assembly and the gazetted copies had led him to an inescapable conclusion that elements within the executive arm of government may have unilaterally altered the laws in pursuit of a tax reform agenda by executive fiat. Joining us on the show to discuss the current controversy around extraneous insertions into the new tax law and the way forward is Innocent Ohagwa, the 17th president of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. Good morning, and you're most welcome to the morning show, Mr. Ohagwa.
Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Abani. Good morning, Ayo, and good morning, Chief Oseni. It's a pleasure having me around.
Good morning, sir. Thank you. Well, sir, look, this issue, it's almost unbelievable. The contentious issues that have been identified in the House of Reps will be Section 3, Sub 1, Section 4, Section 39, Sub 3, Section 60, Section 68, and I guess 69. In the copy that Senator Honorable Dasuki, PDP Sokoto, was complaining about, saying there were discrepancies between the harmonized copy from the National Assembly and also what was eventually gazetted. Now, how could that have happened on earth? How is it possible? Because there's a process to this. The harmonized copy will go to the Attorney General's office and State House Counsel. They will look at it. They will present it to the president. He will sign. If the presidency has any objection to the phrasing, to any of these sections, the thing to do will be to now say, okay, we're sending this back to you. We want modifications in terms of language. Then the National Assembly will react to that and send it back. That's just the process. And then at the end of the day, the finally agreed upon copy will be published. But now we have allegations that there are issues about separation of powers, issues about trust, issues about discrepancies. Are we sure we're talking about the right copy that went to the presidency, to the executive arm? Otherwise, there will also be issues about the separation of powers. Is it the wrong draft that everybody is talking about? And why do you think that the Senate is silent? Because the Senate was also involved. Dasuki from PDP Sokoto was saying there was a harmonized copy. Where is that harmonized copy? Why is the Senate nobody in the Senate is talking up to this moment? How do you think we can resolve this matter? Because there seems to be a consensus that those tax reforms are important, fundamental, and useful, and that is a step in the right direction. Are some people trying to play politics?
Shall I go on?
Yes.
Are you done, sir?
I am, yes.
Okay. Thank you once again for the opportunity to be here. I'm also glad to be here. I want to make some preliminary comments before I go into the substance of the matter. When the CITN, Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, when we read in the papers and heard in the news, we sought to get the harmonized copy of the National Assembly, but we are yet to get that. And we have the already gazetted copy. So it is the gazetted copy that the Institute is having, pending when we're able to see the version that have been harmonized. And to avoid being misquoted or being misunderstood, the comments I'll be making here now will just be preliminary on the issues, pending when the Institute is able to see what the National Assembly actually harmonized and what is gazetted. Be it as it may, for the sessions that are in the public space, we have read it, and we know that tax is anchored on law and is very, very fundamental, that law, you tax what law provides and not otherwise. So from that perspective, there's need for the National Assembly and the executive to sit together and harmonize the areas of discrepancy. From there, I'm aware, or we are aware, that the House of Rep have set up a committee which is looking into the matter, and the executive too will also be looking at the matter. But the comments that will now follow will be assuming peradventure what we have read in the papers are correct or in the news. On that perspective, then the Institute is of the view that the sessions that are foreign into the one the National Assembly approved should be frozen or put in abeyance. But this will not stop the implementation of the whole act, because the importance, the volume, the extent of the deviation in comparison with the strategic nature and importance of that is so much, so that we will advise that the implementation of the laws should commence, but the affected sections, pending the resolution between the executive and the legislature, should be put on hold, should be put in abeyance. This is not isolated. We have sections in the law, in the current law, that is put in abeyance. For example, Chapter 7 of on the surcharge, that has been put in abeyance by the Federal Ministry of Finance, pending further notice. Also, Schedule 11 on some items like petroleum, LPG, gas. There are about 5 items there, which VAT has been put on hold. Yes, sir. So, which have been put on hold. That is there. So, if we put on hold these sections that are there, that are in this, that are not in harmony with what the legislature has passed, we will get it frozen until the two parties reconcile. Again, we have taken time to look at the sections that have been quoted. With due respect to this audience, I could see that most of those sections are anti-avoidance provisions, which is applicable in most of tax jurisdictions all over the world. You can't make tax law without putting anti-avoidance provisions. The only issue is that whatever any additions must be, legislature needs to be carried along, because no matter how good it is, if the legislature did not sanction it, it cannot fly, because tax is substantially law. If I need to give you examples of 5 of some of these sections, one is on the threshold for remitting banks supplying information to relevant authority. The version in the paper said 50 million for individual or monthly basis, and then 250 million for companies. And while the one gazetted said 25 million per month reported on quarterly basis, and then 100 million per company. What is the implication of these sections? If we go with the one in the papers, you have shut out the state internal revenue services, because how many of the individuals resident in their state that will have 50 million transactions in a month? And again, rendering it on monthly basis too could be cumbersome to the bankers. So the 25 million on quarterly basis appear like it, and then A company that had to report 250 million must be the top large taxpayers. So that is a comment on that. But executive needed to carry the National Assembly along to explain the basis for it. If we go with 50 million per month, the state internal revenue services will be in trouble. Then the second example is the issue of 20% on appeal. We do respect to take a case from High Court to Supreme Court takes almost 12 years or 13 years. If you add tax appeal tribunal and you said they should not pay anything, what we are saying is that you can spend 15 years dragging on a tax matter. The focus can be, to delay, because I disagree with you until Supreme Court rules. But if you say pay 10%, 20%, this 20% is not going to the Revenue Authority. It's held in the court, pending the finalization. So it is an anti-avoidance provision. Another provision is the one on enforcement. Some of us who worked and retired from Revenue Office know that at times you want to go to visit a company for investigation. The company is surrounded with police and security men. Even to serve letters, they will not collect the letters. So are we saying that in a situation like that, at times they will attack the revenue agents? Are we saying that the Revenue Authority should go to sleep and allow such to happen? So the enforcement powers, even without what is in the law today, in the old law, we do carry enforcement powers, because if the staff of revenue service is threatened, if his life is under danger, the Revenue Authority will not be waiting, to go to court to get whatever. The revenue agency is a trusted agent of government, and anybody who attacks any staff of such institution is attacking the federal government. So the issue of petroleum tax must be in dollars. Yes, the old law says in the relevant currency of the transaction. Mm-hmm. But what do we observe in practice? Petroleum, we have all upstream. Upstream deals substantially on lifting and sales of petroleum, which is denominated in dollars. The midstream and downstream, yes, they operate as if like
we have to come in.
For upstream,
Mr. Bagbo, we have to come in here. Ayo, go ahead, please.
Just very quickly, thank you so much. I know there's so many areas to talk about, but I just wanted you to also touch on, as you continue your explanation, the area of oversight function, which is one of the areas that has been said there's a discrepancy in the gazetted copy of the law. And this is based on, there's fundamentally is a lack of trust. Because when we talk about the tax, joint tax, the tax review, one of the things that people have talked about is the lack of trust on the sincerity, transparency of government. And to check this, part of the provisions that was made in the harmonized copy of the law was that oversight function provided by the legislature to the executive. But in what is said to be the discrepancy in the law is a reduced function of oversight. To what extent is this important? As you already said, I must put the caveat there that until the investigation is conducted, we cannot conclusively say that this is what has happened. But based on the allegations, this is what is seen to have happened. What are the implications of not having that strong oversight of the legislature over executive through the Nigerian Revenue Service?
Thank you very much. Yes, I think until the two arms, executive and the legislature, would definitely need to see where the ball was dropped. In other jurisdictions, they usually strengthen, the transmission protocol of, the gazetted or the approved version, and it's monitored end to end to ensure that there is no any. But I don't know how far that is practiced in Nigeria. So the legislature and the executive need to close the ranks and then identify where these issues
Okay.
For institute, our focus is on the substance. The process should be strengthened and ensure that gazetting process, is fortified. If it means that, people are dedicated, systems are dedicated to check through this. At times, some of this can happen normal error. Some of us at times prepare memo in our offices and we make corrections. When you tell your officer to print out, he will still print out the old version that you have earlier corrected, but it's not reflected. So some of these things, we need to look it with issue of trust. If there's no trust deficit.
Can we come in here? Can we come here? No. I disagree with you. You just came to defend the aberration that happened, and I see what you've done. In one breath, you said, you have not seen the copy the National Assembly talked of, but you went to start defending all the arguments in what was done. And now when they ask you about the principal issue of trust, you still try to defend them by saying, you can give your assistant something to type for you and something will still come out. They were supposed to go through the National Assembly for any alteration, pure and simple. There's no point of defending and all of that. And for you coming ahead to say, it's tax avoidance protocol. If somebody is in court with you, you tell the person to pay a penalty of 20%. It's already an acceptance of a default. So if you say you're going to keep the money in escrow in the court, why don't you just allow the court process finish if it's going to be many years before you can go about it? You are saying they should enforce people with ammunition and all of that. Is it to go and have a shootout when they go to the companies? Are there not better ways to still be able to serve them? Because all the points you have come out to defend are what the things people are saying is an aberration. Have you ever factored in that this same government can use it against opposition and get a trumped-up tax case and go to arrest them and take pictures of them and use police against them? Do you ever also think of the political implication of things like this when people are talking? I think let's call it spade a spade, because all you have just come to do is you have come to defend this inequity. Why you say you have not gotten the original copy, but you took on the point and you defended it. So on that, I disagree with you. Secondly, I want to talk about the issue of VAT.
Oh, thank you, sir.
No, secondly, I want to talk about the issue of VAT. Because somebody raised it. In fact, I think Dino Melaya has also raised it, saying that there are pending court cases as regards the collection of VAT. That is supposed to be the states that will collect the VAT. Because when we're having this argument of taxation, all we talk about was the distribution. The federal government will still collect it. What's your take about the issue of VAT, sir?
Sir, thank you very much, sir. When I was talking, I said that I have not read it, but based on what is in the papers, based on what is in the news, if they are true, I said it, I repeatedly, I said to avoid being misquoted. I'm not defending anybody. Believe in me, I can't do that. But the position in the institute, we have members who cuts across all shades. So I'm saying that on the basis until when we see what the National Assembly harmonized, then the institute will issue out position on it. And that time it will go through different stages for confirmation. But this one is my view. But this is preliminary because we have not seen the harmonized copy. So on the basis of that, I'm not defending, please. It is just to state on the basis of what is in the space. Okay. Then on the issue of VAT,
yes,
it is the...
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead,
It is the Legislature and National Assembly that will resolve the matter. What we know today is that VAT is collected by federal and shared to all the tiers of government. That is the focus of the institute. If there are changes later and the law approves it, we will oblige.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ohagwa. But is there anything stopping the National Assembly from publishing their own harmonized copy and saying, this is what we publish? If the Chartered Institute of Taxation does not even have access to that harmonized copy, everybody is just speculating, making allegations. Where is that copy?
Copies out there.
They should publish the copy.
Thank you. When I was contacted, ordinarily I would have I asked my counsel, they would have turned it down because we have not seen the harmonized copy to enable the institute take a position. But this is on the basis of what we read in the papers and what we read in the news.
Well,
and we'll be happy. This will be
but
happy
you can ask for a copy under
copy.
Freedom of Information, under Freedom of Information Act. You can ask for a copy. Yeah. Yes?
I know some groups have already
asked. Yes, sir. We will do that, sir.
Of the copy of the certified true.
Well, but this is the Chartered Institute of Taxation saying they have not seen it. These are stakeholders. These are the professionals. It should be out there in the public so that all of us can compare. We shouldn't be relying on what other people are comparing. We can compare ourselves.
All right.
Not newspaper reports.
Well, thank you very much.
That may even be coming from poorly educated people in matters at stake.
All right.